Right, guys. We're live. I'm gonna turn off my webcam because I got food. Webcam goes away. Uh, all right. God, I love hummus. Mrs. Pickle Chips, welcome, welcome. Sorry, I'm just finding something to watch. I'm eating, so I'm not on webcam right now. Okay, I've got some flatbread and chili hummus. Sausage, sure. Why not? I know what you meant. No worries, Mr. Pickle Chips. Oh, so I'm not gonna. Oh, you're not back yet. Never mind. I'll wait. I'll wait till you're back to talk about that. Hopefully, Missy Pickle Chips is not away too long. Message. I don't know, guys. I've got like a bunch I need to do this week. Um, You're just like going on my head about the what. There's my face. Welcome back, Mr. Biff Chips. So the installation of Linux is going to have to wait till the weekend. Most probably, because I've got like a bunch of stuff I need to do tomorrow, and I've got 2 appointments I didn't know about that they messaged me today and it's like, oh, have you got these up? Got these appointments coming up, and I'm like, fuck's sake. And then obviously my cur is here, so I'm probably gonna have to do it at the weekend. But yeah, appointments, the joys. Got a mental health appointment and ADHD appointment. I always forget about them because they're made like 3 months in advance. Now I get a text message at the beginning of the week saying, yeah, you got these appointments. And I'm like, oh, okay then. Yeah, exactly, right? It's not too bad for me because I don't have much to do, right? But like, if you got a job and work and life commitments, like, how can you plan 3 months in advance? Steph, welcome, welcome. How you doing? How's things? How's life? Tell me all about it. Nice to see you in chat. How are you doing today, Steph? Did I ask you already, Missy Pickle Chips? How are you doing? Just coping. I know that feeling. But yeah, I know the feeling instead. But you're off work now, so you get to have a bit of a break at least. Nice, Steph, nice. I don't know, guys. I'm like really out of it today. I was up late last night messing with my computer, and I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about my computer. And then I woke up early, for whatever reason. So I'm very much pretty exhausted right now. Don't worry about it, Steph. Do not worry at all. It's fine. Mrs. Bifflechips is currently working right now, so she doesn't talk much either. Not even focus on work at this time. Yeah. Click all the things. What did I just drop? I heard. No idea. No idea. Have you got anything nice with shopping, Seth? That's what I need to. Yes, you did. You spoil yourself. I mean, it is your birthday, you know. Nothing wrong with spoiling yourself every now and then. I'm only gonna do a short time because I got things to do. Did you get yourself a cake for your birthday, Steph? No, you didn't. Dreadful. I don't think it's today, Mrs. Chips, but I'm sure she'll appreciate it anyway. On Sunday, okay, okay. Hmm, need the battery. Let's throw that behind the screen. I'll be back. No problem. Please stay tuned. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Yawning great. Awesome. Oh, I'm sore today, which is not very helpful when I need to do a bunch of moving later. Nice, Steph. Nice. nothing wrong with a brand new uniform. Unless you miss the Biffle chips, I don't think she was the uniform. You'd not wear a uniform. I guess you wouldn't, but you never know. Some businesses are weird. So I work from home, yeah, but you still have to wear the uniform. Okay then. But guys, I'm in one of those periods where it's too cold if I've got the fan on me, but it's too warm when I've not got the fan on me. Which is a really frustrating, climate to be in. Yeah, it's so annoying because I have to keep putting the fan on me for a bit, then I get too cold, then I take the fan off me, then I get too warm, then I put the fan on me again. You know how it is. How is work going today, Mrs. Chips? It's going slowly, that's good. Got a blanket that you don't have to describe it than glorified cheesecloth. It's enough to not keep much heat, but it does keep some breeze though. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Interesting. Sorry, I was catching up on an AI update. Maltzy, welcome, welcome. How you doing? How's things? How's life? Tell me all about it. It's rare I get a YouTube viewer. Get out of because it's stretching the covering, so you call it entanglement blanket. That's firm. It's a bit for chips. That's firm. I'm trying not to yawn too much. It's pretty hard to not yawn. What else do you stream on? So I'm on Twitch mostly. Same name. Twitch, YouTube, Kick, but I'm probably going to stop streaming on Kick because I don't agree with the platform. I'm not decided yet. Twitch is my main platform. I don't get many viewers these days. I took a very long break due to ill health. Came back and not many people come to watch. Doesn't really bother me. I get Mrs. Biffle Chips most of the time. Mrs. Biffle Chips is great. Steph, are you still around? What are you doing? I'm presuming you put your shopping away by now. My leg is itchy. Damn painkillers. Mrs. Biffle Chips, what have you been up to today? Not much so far, to be honest. Not much so far, Steph. I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh, I was watching a really old video on YouTube and I was reading the comments, which is mostly how I watch old videos. And they were talking about how LCDs will never be cheap enough to replace CRTs. And I find it so hilarious. So like LCDs are great, but like they got terrible because of the fact they have resolution. It makes them terrible, and they're so expensive. And there's no way to make them any cheaper because of whatever reason they said. And I was like, this is why I don't make predictions, right? It was like 12, 13 years old or something. It was a video about CRT projectors, which I have a secret love for CRT projectors, I'm not going to lie. But they were like, LCDs will never be cheap enough for like plasmas the way it's all going to go. Everyone's going to have to get plasmas eventually because LCD will never be cheaper than CRTs. And I was like, there's a reason I don't make predictions, right? Like, I speculatively buy stocks, but I don't make predictions to you guys about anything like that. Because that's how you make yourself look like an idiot in a decade. It's why, despite the fact that I follow AI very closely, I don't talk about AI on stream. Outside of the little here and the talking about how it is right now. But you'll never see me saying AI is the future, because nobody knows, right? No, it's impossible to know. Like, theoretically speaking, the world united tomorrow could come out and say, we're banning AI because it's plagiarism. I don't think they will, but they could, you know. All it takes is lobbying from artistic groups and whatnot for a government to say, yeah, AI is going to be banned, AI content is banned, you're caught with it, you get massive fines, whatever, and most people will stop using AI. AI won't disappear if that happened. People would still play with it in the background. Yeah, hallucinating, as they call it. You know, in the background, people would still play with it, and I'm not saying AI would cease to exist, although I hate it being called AI anyway. Have I ranted about this on stream before, Mr. Biffle Chips, my hatred of the name artificial intelligence? I like if I check with Mr. Biffle Chips on, like, has this been talked about on stream? If anybody knows, it'll be Mr. Biffle Chips. But even if I have, I'm going to rant again. It's not artificial intelligence. Transformers are not intelligent. They're very large, very complex statistical models. But they're not intelligent. There's no intelligence. There's no emotions. There's no feelings. There's no cognitive reasoning. It's just from the input you put in, what's the most likely reply? What's the first token? Which might even be a whole word of the most likely reply. What's the most likely next token based on our model? You know? I'm not saying AI isn't useful. I'm not saying it's not powerful. It is. It is useful. It is powerful. But AI is not intelligent. And I hate that everybody, like, they talk about AI like it's a person or an entity with cognition. It's even the term hallucination. I hate it. It's not hallucinating, it's inference, you know? You can't hallucinate when it's a statistical model. It's, the model is inaccurate, the inferencing is wrong. You know, I would call it something like inaccurate projection. But it's not hallucinating. Calling it hallucinating gives it, and I know we like to personify lots of things in life, like humans, we like to do it. But it's not hallucinating, because to hallucinate you need cognition, in my opinion. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter what you call it, as long as everybody understands what you mean. Like, language is fluid, I understand it, but, you know, hallucination as a term is insinuating that it can function non-hallucination. Oh, I know we do. I know we do, Mr. Bicklechip. You know, it's saying that it somehow is cognitive in a way that is non-hallucinogenic otherwise, but it's always an hallucination, if that's what we're going to call it. The whole thing is an hallucination. Sometimes it's just right. Loki, welcome, welcome. How you doing? How's things? How's life? Tell me all about it. I'm just ranting about AI right now of why it's not, shouldn't be called AI. It is machine learning, right? I will accept that. You are teaching a machine to do something, but it's not intelligent, okay? It's just not. Got to start pouring for you off, just been playing some games. Nice, Loki, nice. And just for Loki's sake, I'm not saying AI is bad. I'm not saying AI isn't intelligent. That's my point. I'm not saying AI is bad. I'm not saying it's not useful. I'm saying it's not intelligent. You know? I use AI on a regular basis. I have a ChatGPT subscription. I do use AI. I communicate with AI regularly, you know, but I don't. Well, I don't. I'm not treating it like a person. I'm treating it like what it is, a statistical model. And it's very good at some things. You know, you can give it. Let's say I wrote part of a story, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. I can feed it into AI, an AI that has, read or ingested the entirety of human knowledge, so to speak, all of that writing, it can compare it and say, yeah, people generally like these parts of writing, but parts like this are controversial, not widely liked. I mean, Google's attempts at machine learning are just pitiful. Google is like 3 to 5 years behind right now. Not gonna lie. I do genuinely think AI is a powerful tool that will be used, for a very long time. I, I'm not making a prediction, that's just how I feel because of how I use it. But I think the way we view it and the way we use it will change quite a lot. I think at the moment it's new and it's exciting and you can chat to it and it seems like a person, it's great. But I think a lot of that will wear off over time. Kind of like smart speakers, right? Like I've got a Google, whatever they're called, Google Nest Home thing, and you got, Amazon Echoes with Alexa. And like in the beginning, people were chatting to them and whatever else and asking it questions. I think these days we just give it commands, right? You just like, Alexa, play this music. Alexa, turn on the light. We're not interacting with it in a sense of it's almost like another person. And I think AI will probably go that way too. But I also think a lot of us will be interacting with AI but and treat it like a person because of that. Like a customer service agent when you're chatting about your internet service plan, and you're like, "Oh, I recently got a new job and I have no money, and I started online gaming. What kind of internet package do I need?" AI is great at that kind of thing. And I think for doing like a lot of repetitive things in the real world, I think eventually machine learning will take over that, like farming and a lot of manufacturing and things. So why have a person do it when machine learning is cheaper, better, and faster? And I say machine learning because we do currently have automation, but it is all pre-planned, right? So when you see those robotic arms welding cars and things, they're all pre-planned. Their exact movements inputted into the device in G code, the same way it is with a 3D printer or CNC milling. You were saying to it, and we do have software that we design a 3D model, and then the machine comes up with the exact pathing. So we're getting, but there'll be a point where you can kind of say to it, "Oh, I need a part that connects this thing to this thing, but I don't quite know how it needs to be designed." And I think AI will be pretty good at going, well, you've got this mating surface and this main surface. It's a tube, so it needs to be hollow, but you can remove excess weight by milling it in this pattern, and there you go. And then it mills it, and it works, and they'll probably simulate it first. I think that is coming eventually, right? Like we're seeing it in extreme motorsports, like F1 cars. They're using AI physical models to adjust the angles of like the wings on the cars and the stiffness of the suspension and things, just little tiny amounts that by doing essentially millions of hours simulation, say slightly, fractionals more efficient. It's at the moment very expensive to do that kind of thing, but it will get cheaper, and we will see more of it. So there are uses for it, and you know, it's like when we first started using simulations for wind resistance and things, and people back then were like, "You'll never beat a wind tunnel," and in a way they were kind of true because we still use wind tunnels, but most things these days are modelled and simulated, and then we use wind tunnels just to confirm the simulation is definitely right. And I think that's probably the way computer-aided design will go. There'll be a case of saying to some very intelligent, very large model, and I'm saying model in the sense of a statistical model, saying I need a part that does this thing, it can be a maximum of this way, but less is better, and needs this amount of strength, and it connects these things and whatever else, and the machine will just design. Like, I think it was the F1 trophy was designed by AI, by somebody just giving it a prompt. Stuff like that's going to happen. There's no way around. Which is a shame because a real 3D artist has then lost out on that very lucrative job of designing a trophy. But we hate it, but it's going to happen. A lot of like engineering, architecture and things I truly think will be accelerated by machine learning to a point where there are significantly less people in that field of employment. I think the scary thing about machine learning is it has the potential to displace a workforce in a way that has never existed before. Because like before, you invented, let's say, the spinning jenny, and we just had more thread to use, right? But then we needed more people to turn that thread into fabric, and more people to turn that fabric into clothing or blankets or whatever else it would be used for, right? Or the invention of, tractors. We needed less people working on farms, but we needed more people to pick up engineering so they could repair the tractors and design the tractors and build the tractors. So like most major shifts in human history has resulted in different kinds of jobs filling the gap that it makes. But AI has the potential to displace massive amounts of the workforce whilst not creating anywhere near as many jobs. Because you just don't need that many people to run a bunch of silicon. You don't need... yeah, exactly, right? You don't... A data center of GPUs can do certain types of work of thousands and thousands of people. You don't need thousands of people to run a data center, depending on the size of it. So I'm slightly concerned, and I'm saying slightly, that AI is going to displace a lot of the workforce, and those people are not going to have anything to do until we come up with things for them to do. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll probably find some way for them to do something. But there's certain things that just blow my mind. Like, I was reading an article last night about AI being used in healthcare, and everyone's like, that sounds great, until you realize it's replacing nurses with cameras in the patient's room. And then you would summon the AI, and it would turn the camera around, and on the screen would pop up an artificially generated female nurse, and then they'd say, what would you like? And you're like, oh, I need water, or I need the bathroom, and they pass that information to somebody, to a real person, because obviously AI is virtual. That's not what AI should be using in healthcare. Exactly, right? But it means you can hire less nurses. and that means you can make more profit. Red, welcome, welcome. How you doing? How's things? How's life? Tell me all about it. Funnily enough, it's the countries with privatized healthcare are the countries that are using these things first. I'm just saying, you know, the countries where profit is important in healthcare are the countries and places where we're seeing more AI replace people-facing parts of the industry. So we're talking about AI and how it's not intelligent, and basically. But we're currently up to replacing nurses with AI cameras, which is something that's happening in certain parts of the US right now. No, right? So the company, the hospitals are saying it's no different than the call button that they installed, you know, decades ago, where you press the button and the nurse comes to you. But in this case, basically, Red, it's just you hire less nurses. That's what it is. And their argument was before a nurse had to go around to every room all of the time, and that cost so much time. So they installed nurse call buttons where you press the button and the light pops up and the nurse comes to you. They're saying this is the next evolution of that, where you have a conversation with the AI, and then the AI says to the nurse, "This patient needs this thing." So the nurse gets it, gives it to you, and disappears. But there's no human interaction in that, right? And I think human interaction is very important in the healthcare sector. You know, you're communicating with a computer, you tell the computer, I'm in pain, I need the bathroom, I need a drink, whatever. And instead of the nurse call button, press it and the nurse comes to you and has a conversation and then does what you ask. You're having a conversation with a computer and the nurse just does what you ask. So it's more efficient, but it's significantly isolated from the patient. And then imagine, uh, there's that as well, Red. But then imagine if you got somebody who doesn't understand. You know, you got somebody with dementia and there's a person on the screen with a camera pointing at you. Like, I can't imagine that's going to go very well. I don't know. I just hope we don't do that in the UK. I mean, as far as accents go, AI is very good at understanding language. I don't think understanding what's being said to them is a problem, because you train the AI on whatever the local accent is in the first place. Well, then the AI would speak whatever language they speak. It's a computer, not a person. It can speak every language on earth if you train it to. You know? I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm saying the issues you're coming up with are not the real issues. Right? It's understanding accents, it can learn. It understanding languages, it can learn. But it can't learn to be a human being. It can't learn to be a physical, blood and flesh, feeling, emotional human being. You know, and I think that human interaction is very important in settings like healthcare. Yeah, I've seen that many times with typical shits. You know, but those kind of issues, the issues that you're talking about, Red, can easily be fixed. Right, you're talking about issues of compute, right? You throw in a computer understanding English. You can understand every dialect, every accent, every slang word. It takes a lot of compute, but these companies have a lot of money to buy GPUs, right? That's not the big issue. The big issue is it replaces actual humans. You know, if you project how AI has developed over the last few years for the next decade or two, You know, as far as if we continue to use transformers in the way we do, AI will become as close to a person as it can be without being a person. But it will never be a person if it's transformers, which means we need a completely different method of machine learning to create actual artificial intelligence, and we don't have the compute resources for something like that. You would have to essentially simulate an entire human brain to have something that maybe is actually intelligent. You can simulate intelligence. Don't get me wrong, you can get pretty damn close, but it's not intelligent. Alright guys, I did say I was only doing an hour, and I am only doing an hour. So thank you all for hanging out. Very much appreciated. Have a good day, night, morning, afternoon, or evening. Whether you're watching this live as a video game on YouTube, guys, look after yourselves, stay safe.